Okay, so in order to sort of understand basically what you're doing on a knowledge base, you need to know how it's structured really, and how to get into various facilities. So I've got a link here that goes straight to start. And on a number of pages, you'll see at the top here a link to the sitemap. Now, a sitemap is terminology that really comes from normal websites, where the pages are listed in a hierarchical structure so you can see where they fit into one another. Isn't necessarily the way in which the menus system links them all through, but it's here on the wiki. You should be able to see a number of things which look familiar. So this is for namespaces. What have we got here? Area groups. And underneath that structure is various area groups. There's MSAG, SR1 at Somerset. And you see under MSAG, there are a load of pages been produced. You can click on any one of these, and it'll take you to that page. And that's our diary page. So you can find your way around if the wiki by sort of going directly to where you want to go to from here. But it's not a really a menu structure. It's not there as a kind of logical progression as such. But it does show you where the pages fit in. So the problem with the automation group is that both the groups I've started in the wrong place, and they will be moved eventually, perhaps over the Christmas. If I look at SIG, that one there is showing the public page for the automation group, and all the rest of them should be underneath that, but they're not. I think they're under projects. Subjects. Okay, so all these pages under subjects start with ASIG, and these are all the different pages. So as you can see, in terms of structure, they're all at the same level, really. They're all underneath that subjects heading. They're in the wrong place. They will be moved to here under this one here, so that there'll be more than that just automation SIG public page. Once you've learned what to do, even the most advanced editors of the wiki will want to go around and just test what they're doing before they make it live. So if you look on here, you'll see something called Playground. I'm sure you've heard of this in the past. And various people have made pages in the Playground, and I've made one called Paul House, and I was testing a bit of work that I was doing on the Somerset group. So you can do what you like with that. If I So I'll get back to the playground. Once you've learnt what you're doing through this course, you may want to go and there's a playground page here, which is a bit more simple to look at. If I was to edit this page, and that symbol up on there on the right is how you edit it for the whole page. That is, I can add to the bottom some simple text, and there we are. It's been modified. Now, whilst we're here, let's just go through these functions to the right. This one will edit the whole page. There's another way of editing, which we'll cover shortly, but here's in using this one on the right allows you to edit the whole page from top to bottom, but you might need to scroll down a long way. This old revisions will show you all the previous revisions, the date, who did it, etc. So I see Ron Pluck's been on here the last time. So you can see I've actually played around with this page before. I can restore any one of these previous pages. Unless you know what you're doing, I wouldn't do that if it's somebody else's page. The idea is that if you've changed something, you can change it back to the previous. So I've changed this one. There's my change I just did, but I could click that and then change the version back to the previous version. Let's see if I can do that. So there you see my pool house was here's disappeared. So I can move backwards and forwards through the different versions. That's a sort of helpful thing to know if you are playing around on the main website and you mess something up for some reason or other, and you want to go back and get back to a previous version. And it's possibly a good reason why you should save what you've done every now and again, so that you can return back to just before you've made a mistake. The old revisions, backlinks, export to PDF, open document, export. So with this playground, you should be able to put anything you like in there, from very simple stuff like this to let me go back to where we were. Playground to quite involved stuff like this. So you can see the kind of page that we've got there. Now, I said there's more than one way of editing. There's a little edit button here, which is put in automatically when you put one of these headings in. So here we've got basic electronics, and I can edit everything up there. Here's CBus, and I can edit everything within CBus. So this is just that small section of code, and it's a lot easier to use that if you're editing part of a page or trying to fit it in somewhere. As you go down the page, the wiki has basically put in edits underneath every main heading here. What number of heading? Each one of these headings is that's what I call a main heading one. That's a five dash or equal sign heading. We'll come on to that shortly. But once you put one, I think it'll do it for 5 or 4. I'm not quite sure. We'll test that later. On the wiki, there are 2 main areas. If we go to area group, best to use the Somerset one, I think. If you go to the main Somerset group link, the main page is a public page, and you get this warning at the top. That means anything on here can be seen by a non-member of, and you're basically publicizing something or other for those non-members to attract them to Merg, basically, and join your group. This then would lead onto a members area, which doesn't have that link at the top, and it's not public at the top here. We go back to that one, you can see in the URL it says public Somerset. That public disappears. This is under a directory called area groups, and these pages can only be seen by members of Merg who are logged in onto the website, either via the main website or via the forum. So all of these pages can be edited by anybody within Merg. And as you can see, we've got titles here, and you've got these edit signs down there, allowing you to edit just that one section. So if I want to edit just this one section, when do we meet? Click on that edit sign, and it's got the title there, and it's got the area that the information that I can edit. Okay, so because the SIG can only be accessed by members, we don't really have that public structure, but we do have a forward-facing page. Go back to start. So we have this page here, which is forward-facing. This is for members, basically, who want to know what the group's about. We've got no forward meetings at the moment. Again, we have our own, as it were, private pages underneath that, and I think most people within the group have been there and seen how the various options can be called up. Another way of getting into our part of the website is through Merg TV, and special interest group. We have channel 110 for automation, Arduino's 109. And if we click on this, it'll take us to basically the video section of our site. This is, we don't have that many videos, so they're all just listed one after the other. But as we get more, then they'll be organized into a better format. So we just go back to Playground. Nope, I'll go back to here. If we go back to somewhere on our site, which hasn't been touched yet, this is intended to be all about firmware. And if I want to edit this page, because there's no title on it, I will need to go up here to edit this page. And we'll just explore what this page is about. This NOTOC means no table of contents. And if you don't put that on a page, you end up with a one that we've all seen it, an automatically generated table of contents down the top right-hand corner of the page. And the wiki generates that automatically based on the headings that you've put in. So if I didn't have that there, I need a page with headings on, to be honest. Yeah, so let's just go down here a bit further. We'll talk about the wrap format later, and the tabs format later in the more advanced section. But this is basically standard text. And if you want to add some more text, you just type that in. You can edit and delete it just like any word processor, and it's really, really simple just to add text. If you're reading part of the site and you find a typo, you can just go in and correct it. If you suddenly decided that should be we is, you could correct that. And you have 3 buttons here. If you press cancel, all the changes you've made will not be saved. You have preview, where you can preview any changes you've made, what they look like on the site. And I would think that my recommendation is that you always preview it, even if you're the master of all wiki editors, because sometimes you can leave the odd bracket out and formatting syntax out, and you'll get very funny results from time to time. So with that preview, you could go back and correct anything that you want. So, you know, and preview it again, and it will then show you the changes that you've made. That's very simple. With text, you might argue you don't really need to preview much for that, but if you're adding images, you don't know whether you've formatted the image syntax correctly so that it's on the left or the right or in the center or the right size, and so you'd best preview it. I go back and delete that. Preview it, it's gone. I can now say that's okay and save it, and that'll be saved. It will say down here who last modified it and when. So that was me. And if I wanted to reverse that, I could. Okay, so that's now a different time to what we had before. It's a get out of jail free card, that is. You may want to create a new page. So you'll see here that we're under subjects, and this is ASIG firmware. I may want to put in a link. So if I go to edit, you'll see various symbols up here that allow you to do various things in formatting. A lot of them are very similar to what you find in a word processor. This is bold. If I just highlight that and click bold, it will put the two little stars either side. Quite honestly, once you've done a lot of editing, you don't necessarily bother with the buttons. You very often just type in the little stars and it will do exactly the same thing. If I highlight the same text and press italics, it will now put in the double slash, which will mean that that bit will be printed in italics. If I just put that back in and do a preview, you'll see it's now in italics. I'll just edit that out again. Underline, monospaced, strike through. These are headings. So let's put in a heading. It puts it in as H1. And so what it's done, it's put 5 equal signs in, 6 as H1. And if we preview that, it's formatted the heading because it knows it's an H1 heading. It's put in the increased text size, font size, and the fact it's bold. It doesn't really do anything more than that. Some work, if you've been used to using software that creates websites, then you might have thought it might have changed it all to small caps or large capitals or something like that, or sentence case or something. What you find here is, I think this is reduce, lower the headline. So I don't know if I've ever used that. Yeah, that's the next one down. When I've done my editing, I've always just put the equal signs in as I want them, and I never use these buttons at the top here anyway. If we just preview that, that's now gone smaller, still bold. I delete another one and go down another level. It's even smaller. Go down another level, even smaller. And even smaller still. Be aware if you put high level headings in, it's going to put an edit into that section. But that doesn't affect anybody else really, other than the fact that you could come back and edit just that one section. So if you've got a very long page, you may want to split it up with headings so you can go back and edit any part of it.
Paul, what happens if you
yes?
have a different number of equal signs on there, on the left or on the right?
Would you like me to try?
Go on then.
I don't know, because I never do that. I never make that mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This is where Paul breaks the Merg website.
1, 2, 3. Right, so I've got 5 and 3. Okay. It's used the. It looks. If I just add in, I don't know which ones that's taken up, 5 or 3. It looks like it's taken up 5. Either that or it's taken up 4. Yeah, it just looks like it's taken up the 5 at the beginning, Ron. I've never had to do that. Obviously, you can make that mistake if you're typing it in by hand.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So, two types of link. We've got an internal link and an external link. So if I bring up a right, I want to link to this page. Okay, I thought within the text that I'm describing, I suddenly want to link into this page because it's got relevant information on that I want people to be able to go off and see. What I've got here is an internal link. It's Launchpad. You notice it comes up automatically with subjects, but we want Launchpad there, so I'm now going to paste Launchpad into there. There's the thing that we can put in, which is the capacitor one. So this is an internal link. It doesn't have any HTTPS or HTTP / etc. in front, and some poor old Keith goes around deleting all those because people put in quite often when they're editing the wiki, they put in the whole URL, and it just doesn't need that, and it's the wrong way to go about it. So,
and it can actually be harmful, Paul,
yeah,
because if for some reason Merg decides to change where it hosts the wiki, then you have to go in and change all of that. So
yeah,
just leave the symbolic name there.
Yeah, that's right. So this describes enough structure for the link to go off and find the right page. So if we look at the preview of that, it's now got a green capacitors there. And I say green because if the link wasn't right, oh, the word, by the way, is this one after the pipe. So we have the whole syntax is the whole structure is in 2 square brackets. You have the link followed by a pipe, and then the words that, I mean, I could put that there, and you'll find when you do the preview, that text has now come out as being the link that's that's there. Now, if it's green, that means you haven't made a mistake. There is actually a page at the end of that link. Okay. So that's an internal link. Now, what if you wanted to create a page within the wiki? That's fine if somebody's already written a page. I mean, on one page, I think Malcolm made a page a long time ago about one of his layouts, and it was nicely formatted with pictures and text and things like that. And I wanted to quote that within our Somerset pages, and so I just create an internal link to it. So somebody clicks on it and it go to information all about his layout. But what if I want to actually create a page where I want to add the content? So this is, I'll just put it in the right place. If I put on here, I'm pretty sure this page doesn't exist. Okay, so if I now preview that, you'll see it comes up in red. Now, if I click on that page, it says it doesn't exist yet. Right? It says, if permissions allow, you may create by clicking on create this page. So if I go to the right here, to edit it, it says create this page. So I can now create that page and populate that page as I want. I won't do that because it's within the Launchpad area. But that's all you need to do to add a page. It's quite straightforward. You basically tell it where you want the page to be, and then create it and start populating it. If you leave the page empty with nothing in it at all, it will basically delete it, so it will disappear.
Sorry, Paul, can you go through that process? You don't have to save it, but just to show how that page, how that crate looks.
Yeah. Right, okay. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do a deal here. So we've got a playground here, okay? So if I look up here, okay? So this is the playground page within playground. So if I actually copy that, and put a internal link, that's this one here. You know what's internal and external is. This is just a picture of a link in a chain, and this one's got the World Wide Web behind it, so that's an external link to some external page. Could be a page on the main Word website. Could be a page on the forum. Could be a page somewhere else, like a BBC article or something. So I'm going to now put in, instead of subjects and saying where it's going to go, I'm going to say that would then give us playground. It's a green one, it already exists. If I now change this to that, okay, that's telling the system it wants to go to that page there. If I do a preview, you'll see that it comes up red. And if I click on the red one, now the red, so any links you see that are red don't exist. If you click on them, it will take you to a blank page like that, and it'll say create this page. So in order to create that page, I've just gone over to the right to the edit symbol, and I will create that page now. I've got to fill it with something or other, so that's probably Welsh. So I've got a preview there, save that. Now, if I go back, I went back one too far. Right, so basically my new page is now green. The link to it's now green, which means I can go there and I can see this page. If I want to get rid of that page, I'm just going to save it with nothing in it. Doesn't exist anymore. Well done. So now my link has gone back to being red because it doesn't exist. So you can create pages, scrap pages, and in some cases, if you're editing the automation group website, then those pages that are already produced will be sufficient for most things. However, what I've tried to do, if you follow the same system that I've tried to create, is make it a logical route so that there's not too many options on the same page that clutter up the page and make a very, very long page, because it would be more difficult for people to find what's on that page. Ideally, you ought to be able to see what that page is about just by looking at the top without scrolling down. That's what we tried to do with the tabs. That's one reason we use the tabs. You'll see that on some pages there are in fact blocks of that are used in like menu options. I would avoid using that unless you've got one or two. That's fine. And if you're putting a string of them across the top of a page, you'll find that it creates problems elsewhere, and we'll come to that towards the end of the session. So was that okay, Sven? Did you understand how to create that page?
Excellent, and I learned something new.
Okay. Right. That might be the only thing.
The link, when you put the link into your page, what do you know again?
Right. Okay. So you need to put in the structure within the wiki of where it's got to go. Okay. So what if we just go up here and come down here, you don't need to click on here to create an internal link. you can just simply type the double square brackets, the pipe in the middle. We've got nothing after the pipe there, so I'll just call that Fred. And if there's nothing after it, it'll use this URL thing here to populate the text. What I did here, Roger, is that I went away to this page here and found the correct thing up here after the equal sign for an internal link. And it's basically saying it's within the playground and it's another page called the playground. I copied that, Control C, and I clicked on this for the link. And what happened here is that it will assume that it's within subjects. I've overridden that, pasted in what we know as playground. And then if I click on that, that means I'm going to put that page in. Now, if I wanted my own page to start from within that and use playground as the top level, and it will get deleted, by the way, because from time to time the playground information is deleted. If there's something that looks important up there, they will leave it up there. So what we've did here is that this is enough information for it to find the page. So if I did a preview on that, you'll see that you've got playground there. That was my previous link, which doesn't exist anymore. So I could click on that and it will go to the playground. So that's an internal link. And I can say that if we go somewhere else, just to give you a different example, say I want to go to one of the possibilities is there might be an interesting article on the Arduino special interest group. So we could go there. I don't navigate this. And it's about EasyBus. Okay, so I might want to send people off to this page. So I've grabbed everything after the, let me just explain this. See this hash sign?
Yeah.
Okay. Everything after the hash sign is where to go on the page. So if I said CBus, it would bring the top of the page that I go to at CBus. EasyBus goes all the way down here and brings the top of the page as EasyBus. So we'll leave it as EasyBus. That's the URL that I want. If I go back here, I can simply paste that into here, preview it. Have I got it right? Well, it's green. Is it going to go there? Yes, it has. And because it's got that hash EasyBus after, it's a qualification. It's nothing new to websites. It's similar to what's used in HTML, basically, when you're navigating a normal website. So it's handy if you've got a long page like this with a load of things, and you just want to take people to the section that you're interested in them following up, then having, so it must be exactly what's in that title. So if this one would be more awkward to put in, If I said LocoNet, it would go to LocoNet. PTP-Lite, you have to make it exactly the same as the heading that you want to be at the top of the page. Okay, so this is that's a very good example of why you would use that hash sign, and it comes after the URL, which all it was LCB :start. Okay. Back to where we go. Let's see if I can just get rid of all that. Okay, so let's go back to the forum here. Now, just imagine this was an interesting latest new post. There's nothing here related to automation by the looks of it, but let's just click here. We now have an external link, and that's slightly different. It's actually put an external link. I'm now pasting in that one. Where's my pipe gone? Preview that. So this is an external link. Okay, that would have been a link to DC voltage current meter. Okay, so I can now click on that link. It's external to the wiki, by the way.
Sorry, Paul, you put a 2 HTTP colon in the link.
It's got two,
Yeah.
has it? I didn't delete the front bit, did I? Ah, yeah. So that'll go to the forum post. So you might find that there's an interesting article here. I mean, James uses the forum quite a lot. He might be wanted to refer people back to what he said on the forum, in which case it not just takes you to the article, it will take you to the page where that relevant information is held. So you don't have to keep repeating the information as such. So what else can we do? That's a French. Right, so this is an article on the BBC. Now I could just do that to edit it. Or, sorry, go up the top here for another one. preview. So now that's two ways of creating that external link. The first one, I just edited what was there, and the second one is using the button. And that will take me to that Macron. So that could be on any site anywhere. So it's a worldwide thing. Right, let's get back to some things which should take less time. Okay, so do a preview. There's nothing there. Oh, yes, there is. Example of the usefulness of a preview. There's nothing there now. What I want to do is I want to put in a numbered list. So this is an ordered list. So what I want to do is first preview that, and it comes up with a nice numbered list. There's nothing to stop you putting these dashes in manually. You don't have to use the button, but probably for lists, that's the easiest way to do it. You'll find that if you create the list first, it's quite a lot of work to to go back and alter it. And the quickest way of altering it then is to type these in as a kind of. I'll just show you how to do that first. So there's my list, and I want it in an ordered list. So all I need to put in is that, and it will come up exactly the same. You don't have, there's nothing magic about the buttons. They're just a shortcut way of creating the correct syntax for the list.
How do you know the first list is finished and the second list starts? Why did it go?
Because why did it? There was a space here, Roger. What
happens if you want to put a space in the content of your list? So these lists are sentences, and you want a space in the sentences.
So there's no reason why you can't do that.
Why would you think it's just a new list?
No, this is a numbered list, okay? So why would you want?
Well, supposing the first under the first item, it's not a word, yeah. It's a paragraph. Can you do that? So you have three or four paragraphs.
Let's
numbered.
Let's just explain. The wiki is not a word processor.
No, I appreciate.
Neither is it. Neither does it have the scope of HTML. I think was it Sven saying earlier on that he's worked on several wikis and they all seem to vary. With a wiki, you can get the base wiki that allows you to do all the base stuff that we've been looking at so far. Okay. You notice we've put tabs in, and we have the wrap command, and various things that allow us to do put nice boxes around things and things like that. It doesn't come with the standard wiki. They're add-ons. Now, Martin, in his wisdom, and I totally support this approach, wouldn't like us to just keep adding a load of add-ons without proper justification for it. Because what you find is that if you give people four colors to play with, then they'll use 4 colors. If you give them 400, they'll use 400. And as I don't know if you know this, but multiple colors on the same of text on the same page like that is very disconcerting to the reader, and they're not going to read the page. It makes it very difficult. It's a bit like those people that think they're clever in putting pictures behind text on websites. All they've done is they've said, look how clever I am, I've put a picture behind my text. And what they've actually done is made it really difficult to read in many cases, because the picture detracts from the text. So it's just an amateurish way of doing things. So what Martin's done is he's limited what he's made available. I've asked for things to be added, so has Alan, Geeky, for various reasons. And he has conceded and put some things in, which has livened up the wiki a bit, because for instance, without this tab system, you'd have very long pages, and that's essentially what was being produced, is load of non-interconnected pages and very long pages. So I don't think you can do what you're suggesting for paragraphs. There's no numbering of paragraphs.
Well, you put one word in first, you put second, you put third. How much do you put into each item in that list? Yeah.
How much? Just a character.
That's the minimum and the maximum.
Oh, you mean? Oh, okay. So yeah. So you're saying? Well, there is. I don't think there is.
I think you could follow programming techniques by putting an underscore there. Instead of a space.
Yeah, I put an extra line there.
Paul, if you wanted to achieve what Roger's suggesting, wouldn't it be better to use headers and then put paragraphs of text under each header?
Well, yeah. That's how it's done, because what you've got to realise, this is a command that gives you a list. Lists are usually continuous. Ron, you were saying that you might be able to put an underscore. I'm not so sure that's correct. Are you thinking of HTML? Oh, look, you get an underscore.
I'm just thinking it's a character that looks a bit like a space. It's what they do with programming. It saves putting blank spaces into a programming line or an instruction. It just acts as text.
Yeah, but it doesn't alter this list. I think what you've got to think about it is a list. It's a numbered list, or it's an unnumbered list. Let's get rid of that. So the other list. Sorry, I should have made my screen bigger. Keep going to scroll up and down. You can still see all of the screen, can you, chaps? Yep, good. So we're now going to put another list in, which is a bullet point basically an unordered list. and preview that, and we'll now get that symbol. Again, you don't have to use the button up here, but I find with the list that's a lot quicker and easier to do that and then start typing the list out. You can actually, as we did with this ordered list, you could have made a list and decided, oh, I think I'll indent that with a you can't indent up here. You could just then copy this stuff in front of all the text that you've already put in. So because you don't always think about formatting when you're creating content on a page. It's handy if you do, but you don't always think about it. Okay, the next one is images. So I've just clicked on the image saying, can you see the pop-up? You can't, can you? I'm going to have to share my screen, chats. Sorry. Can you see the pop-up now?
Yes.
Okay. So let's. I shouldn't have done that. So this is now going to look for a picture. Now, the media files are held within a similar structure. So there's the root. And if you think about the SIG, we've got one here. Ours is the automation SIG, not to be confused with the Arduino SIG, but they don't use the A in front. They just use the word Arduino. And you could then look for the picture that you want. Conversely, if you know what it is, you can just put in the link. So here this one's not a picture, this one's a file, which looks like a PowerPoint presentation. So I've just clicked on that one and I'm going to put that one in. And what we've done here is instead, it's similar to the link, we've got curly brackets. It's got the local wiki directory structure. And there's
sorry, Paul, it's getting very small. Can you share just that window again?
Okay, right, okay.
Sorry, it's a bit difficult, but it will be a lot easier to read.
Yeah, okay. Better?
Thank you very much.
Right, okay, so this part is the actual URL for the or the file name. This is telling it where it's located, and this question mark 400 is its best stab at giving you a size for your image. So if we preview this now, it's given us an image, but in this case, it's far too small because you can't really read the text on the image. So if I go back, get rid of all this stuff here. If I go back and change that to 800, I believe it's pixels, by the way, chaps. It's now much bigger. I could probably get away with making that 900. Right, that looks about right, doesn't it? So I can now put that picture there on the page, but that's not what we want all the time. So if we go back to the picture and put it back at 400, it's now on the left, isn't it? We'll put a space in front of that. It's now on the right. In fact, it's filled in with text on the left now. So, I mean, that's possibly a better way of using it. Space before, it goes on the right. Space afterwards, it goes on the left. Space on before and afterwards, it goes in the center. So it's just a way of getting used to the formatting of pictures. The other thing is, you see when I put my cursor over the top, it says what the file name is and where it's coming from. That's really not clever. Again, it's got a pipe, and generally after the pipe, you can put a clever title. And now that then gives you your mouse over title. It's handy to do that and describe what you're looking at, because it's not always obvious. What I would have done here is, I forget what this is now. This is John Ferguson's DCC unit, isn't it? So I would have put the name of the unit, what it was up there, and perhaps rear view of it. So so that gives you a good mouse over. So basically, with no space after the file name and no space before, it will default to the left. And you can change the size bigger or smaller. I mean, if I just do 100. So you've got quite a bit of control over the images. The only problem is that the image may not already be on the wiki. So how do you get an image up there? This will be interesting, won't it? I've got to go back to this other page now. Stop sharing that. Do the whole screen. Bring that up. Does that fill the screen now? What we're going to do now is we're going to take that image out. We're going to add an image, but this time we want to search for one that's on my machine. But before we do that, we don't want to put it into the root, which is where it will go at the moment. So if we're doing something to do with the SIG, we need to come down, find the SIG, find the SIG directory, and under here it's now limited this choice to all the ones that we've got on our website already. So I'm going to go, it's going to now put it within that directory structure, and it's going to be easy to find in future. I'm now going to search for it. No, I'm not. Pardon the expression. I made a mistake. Back to SIG, SIG, upload, not search. Search is searching the directory of stuff that we're on. Select files. So now going to my machine. This could be embarrassing. Oh, where did this come from? This is one of Malcolm's. Remember this, Malcolm? So it's a center JPEG, and I want to upload it. Now, if you say tick that box, overwrite existing files, you could be replacing one that you've already put up. A good example of that is you looked at it and you put the wrong one up, but gave it the right file name. So you want to keep that file name. Another one is that you've put something of too low a resolution and you wanted a big picture and it just looks very fuzzy, so you put a higher resolution one up. So we're going to upload this one. It's now uploaded it. I'm going to click on the one that's uploaded. I'm going to insert it, and it's now inserted the center picture there. I'm going to call it center, and we'll preview that, and there it is. So we've uploaded it. It's always going to be on the wiki unless somebody deletes it or overwrites it. And I can now control that, put it on the left, the middle, the right. I can wrap some text around it, which is good. It doesn't seem to wrap the text around the right-hand side, but the left-hand side's good. I can create an image of it quite different sizes. Now, what you can do, looks like in order to get to the advanced section, we're going to have another, we're running out of time today, so we need another session in January. And the topics for that are adding links to files or videos, editing the text of links, adding shortcuts to help pages, using tables, using wrap, what's a house style, using tabs, and how to check that you're compatible with a mobile version of the wiki. I'll just give you a taster of that. Is that still a reasonable size for you on the screen?
It's a little small. Can you, Moses,
shall I go back to how we were before?
Can you?
Yeah, that would be good if you could restore the size of the window. No, you're sharing the screen right now, right?
Right, okay, so I will save that. Wrong one. Okay, this is no good for people that haven't got Google, but it's just to show you before we go what can go wrong. This is a nicely formatted page, isn't it? Quite straightforward and easy. It's got these buttons down here and these buttons right across the top. If I come out of that and I go to an obviously much better page. Now here's a complex page as well. It's got logos, pictures, tabs, boxes using the wrap command, etc. And it's got two lots of tabs on it. So this is a way of finding the different videos. Now, if I go back to here on Google, if you go to these three dots at the top and come down to more tools and then come down to developer tools, you'll find that you can change the picture. This is an iPhone X. You can put other ones up there. It could be an iPad. And look what happens to the nicely formatted page. These are just usable, but they're not very. And this is all. It's still usable, but it's something you need to bear in mind that when you're creating a formatted page with lots of areas like that, then you need to make sure it works for people using it on a mobile, different size screens. So here I'll go down to more tools, developer, and this is how the tabs rearrange. They don't overlap. Everything's still there. Unfortunately, this is a much smaller picture, and I'll explain that in the next session, why that is so. But it's usable. You don't lose anything, nothing's overlapped. Yeah, let's come out of that. So when you are formatting complex things in a wiki, you really need to know what it's like on your screen, but what it's like for other people. So by the way, Alan knows about the problems with his start page because he knows about that system. But it's handy just if you want to see what a page any page looks like on a phone or a tablet, then Google have got those development tools for you to check. Okay, so as I say, next time we'll be looking more about how to format for mobiles, using tabs, the house style, using wraps, and using tables, because putting the pictures on the screen, you may well want to put them in different, do them differently. I'll just show you a way of doing that. That's putting pictures within tables, and it basically neatens them up, and you could of course have 2 or 3 across the 3 or 4 across the page if you wanted to. Okay, chaps, that's about all we can do today, coming up to the hour and a half. Any major questions on what we've covered so far? I think we've had questions as we go along, but we've just basically done the beginner stuff today. So,
Paul, are there any limitations on the picture resolution?
No, if you put rubbish up, you'll display rubbish. If you put a large image up, it'll sort itself out.
So
The limitations on images. Sorry.
I've worked on other websites, and if you try to upload too large an image, upload it, it rejects it. I didn't know there was anything here.
Yeah. No, the modern technology on websites is that you don't want people to have issues like that. So what you do is you have a processor or a process that sorts out that if it's too large an image, it will then shrink it for you and create images of different sizes. Now, you've been able to create images of different sizes for a long time when uploading to a website, but all the modern ones, i.e. the ones that have been created in the last year or two, will be using systems that process all those images for you. And in fact, my own company's system creates multiple copies of the same image as you put it up, so that you've got thumbnails that you can call up, you've got of the same image, and you've got small, medium and large. And if you can think of an e-commerce website, it will use thumbnails, it will use medium pictures, and then large pictures for people to then click on. But it tends to also upload original images of, it could be 5 megabytes or so, and a lot of websites nowadays allow you to magnify certain areas, so they're much larger resolution pictures of big file size. So that's what's happening there. So but this wiki has limitations on what file types you can upload. I've not come across anything that I've uploaded that it says it's too large. Does that help?
Yeah, that's fine. I just,
okay.
I just didn't want to know whether you got to, you know, pre-size them before you tried sending them.
No, that's old technology, Mark. It's older websites used to have to resize things to upload them and whatever. What you will find is that what you may still have to do is an example of this is putting an avatar on a website. Now, I don't know what, I can't remember. It's a long time since I uploaded one to the Merg forum, but forums used to tell you what size to make the avatar. And nowadays, they'll just do all that for you. And in fact, some of them that are really good allow you to put circles or shapes around the picture just to frame it and move yourself around so you're in the center of the picture, and then click a button and that's the one that the image it now captures to put on the website. So yeah, technology for image uploading is getting better year by year. Any more questions? Okay,
what
then
happened?
I'll set up a part 2.
What happened when
Roger.
you were putting the image of Santa Claus up? You went 400, 800, you go up to 900. You said it was pixels. What happened if you went much bigger? You went to 1,000 and 200. Would it just cut the image, or would it
I can't remember. Would you like me to try?
That would be very kind of you.
That picture's already been uploaded. You can't see this, but I'm now going to look at SIG, then ASIG, and I'm going to search for Santa. It brings that up. I'm going to click on it, insert it. Okay, so this is 900. Okay. What do you want me to change it to?
No, put it 1200, see what happens.
Oh, look, it won't go any bigger than the page. That's clever, isn't it?
So if you went to 3000, it will come up the same.
Roger, you like pushing things to the limit, don't you?
Of course. You find what the limit is then.
It's exactly the same. If it's going to...
That looks quite good then, doesn't it?
Yeah, programming logic says if it's going to curtail it at 1200, it'll curtail it whatever you've got over the top of the width of the page. I don't know what the width of the page is actually, but it must be somewhere in 900. So, but you can go into the playground, and I recommend you do, and play around with all sorts of things. And
yeah,
it's a good bit of advertising for your Santa, wasn't it, Malcolm?
Yeah, if anybody would like one of those personalised with their own name on it, they are available.
Well, that one will suit most people in Merg. They're all called Grandma, aren't they?
Yeah, I didn't sell so many of them though, but I sold loads. The North Pole stations, I got fed up of making them.
Yeah. Okay, so
took 9 hours to print.
Oh, yeah, I've got to do something.
I'll tell you one thing I would like.
19 hours, yeah. Carry on.
I'll tell you one thing I would like to know. Is there absolutely no way you can delete an image?
What, off of the wiki? I don't know.
Because,
I've not been through that route. But what you can do, of course, if let's just say you accidentally uploaded a naughty image, upload another image of the same name, file name, or a blank white piece of, just a square, blank white square as a file name. As long as you overwrite the file with the file name, it'll overwrite it. But I'm sure Martin will have some sort of archive of deleted images somewhere.
I wasn't looking from that aspect, but
what I've done with most of the images on the automation SIG is to put a ASIG underscore in front of the image name. So just so that if it went somewhere it shouldn't do, at least I can find it. I could do a search from the root and find everything beginning with ASIG underscore.
So when you put this blank piece of paper on top of your naughty image, we can come along and unedit that anyway, can't we?
No. You're overwriting the image that's been saved. The only thing that you can come along and restore, right, the only thing you can come along and restore is the page, not the images.
Sucks.
Yeah, but what it does mean is that we can put naughty images over Paul's images.
I don't give people ideas.
He's always like that, Les. He's the troublemaker in our Somerset group.
No, we just have some great pictures, don't we?
Yes. When he says naughty, things like me carrying a handbag.
No, I wouldn't have him.
And these co-leads. Oh yes, that one as well. I think we'll terminate the meeting now, Malcolm.
Oh, go on then, if you insist.
Happy Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas all.
Yeah.
And a Happy New
Have
Year.
a-
Oh, yes,
Thanks,
absolutely.
Paul.
Cheers, Roger.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Well, let's hope we all come back in January for a vaccinated look rather than a vacant look. Okay, there'll be a part 2 advertised then. Okay, a more advanced session. Okay, thanks, chaps. We'll end the meeting there.
Bye, Paul.
Okay. Yeah, bye.
Bye.